everybody. Welcome. I am so excited to be here, and I'm going to start with the story before I introduce this guy, and I'm going to make him sit here for a few minutes. So, my two wonderful kids, who are back here in the background of the video today, this is pre-recorded, by the way. So, my two wonderful kids headed up to Michigan. We're based out of Indianapolis, and they decided we got to come home. All of our friends are doing something fun back home in Indiana. And meanwhile, I had to put a full week's in at work. Well, little did I think, how can I make up a great excuse to go get my kids so that they can come home for a big friend celebration, all that fun stuff. There's a great power in the thing of AddressTwo. Sitting at my computer Monday afternoon. All right, who do I know in, what's your zip code?
49415.
49415. Boom. Mr. Rich Lohman, woohooing business coach of Michigan, is 1 hour out of my way. Actually, it wasn't even out of my way. On my way to go pick up the kids. All I had to do was look at Mr. Carter and go, I get to go visit the woohooing business coach. I'll be back on Monday. So here I am. So that's the quick power of AddressTwo. I completely forgot that this guy's on my way. He was literally... We go on 31. How many, what, maybe a mile off of 31
1
right
mile
now?
off 31, downtown Grand Haven, Michigan.
He was on my way. So, without further ado, I get to introduce this guy who I've known for what, 3 years now?
Three and a half
4?
years.
I don't even know anymore. All I know is, and I pick up the phone and I go, woohoo! And I get a woohoo! Right back in it. So, this is my friend Rich Lohman. Totally going to change the mood now. Just kidding. What's woohooing all about, man? I gotta know.
Woohooing is the best answer is begin with the end in mind. Anything that we want to accomplish, if we don't set ourselves up with the end, with the woohoo, and reverse engineer what we want to do, factually speaking, we're not going to hit our mark.
No.
If we do, we're going to be a little bit lucky, but we want to set ourselves up at the beginning for
woohoo! Woohoo! So, how long have you been woohooing?
Woohooing's been going on for 9 years now. I can't believe I'm saying that. Wow. I know.
That's awesome.
If I could say it, you're going to laugh at this, but the unimaginative previous name was Coaching with Rich. We even
our non-existent audience knows that's bad marketing.
That's exactly so. So it became, if I was to tell you guys this now, I'm going to tell this joke to your kids right now. It's okay. Good. We're having fun.
Everybody at AddressTwo knows these guys.
Exactly. And it's Friday afternoon in Grand Haven, Michigan. And you guys are crazy for being here because Grand Haven, Michigan is Coast Guard City, USA.
Yep.
Coast Guard, the festival starts right now. No, it starts right now.
I know, but now we got to go home to Indiana, man.
Right. No, you should be here all week. So, Molly, play along with me for our audience, but stick your index finger in the air. Stick your pointer finger up. Rotate it around in a circle. Now, ready? Knock, knock. Woo. Woo-hoo! So that, the branding really came from my kids coming home to tell a joke like that. And I'm like, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Yes. It has evolved into, it is also my energy, my passion.
Absolutely it is.
To live life to the fullest and go out after the end result that we really want.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I've ever called you and been like, hey, dude, I know last time we talked I was blah, 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 but guess what? I got a big woohoo today. And you were like, woohoo! So it just works with Rich. I know not long ago, Rich, you picked up also the John Maxwell side of things as well. Talk about a little, it's probably been, what, 2 years there or so? I mean, you've already been.
That's funny you say that because I'm going back to my second ever live event with the John Maxwell team. The John Maxwell team is a team of over 18,000 people worldwide that are either aspiring speakers, coaches, trainers, or people that are in organizations for organizational development, or just want to be around like-minded people to grow. John being the world's #1 ranked leadership and personal development person, there's an immense team. I'm going back on August 4th for the live event. I'm taking my wife this time.
Where's it at?
Orlando World Marriott. We're going to go to hot. We're going to go to, been doing that. I started out in coaching back in about 2008, 2009. And I started out more mindset related, and it's still a big part of what I do. But as you and I have talked so many times, the fundamental premise of all of the coaching is based on clarity, confidence, competence, craft or strategy, and conditions.
Yep.
So the 5 C's to success.
All right, so we're talking about 5 C's. What were they again?
5 C's are clarity, confidence, competence, craft, and conditions. So what I realized about, I understand clarity in 2 different capacities, and it's part of the coaching model and part of the habit that we want to create. And as I said, my original coaching started out with a lot of mindset, and that's the confidence piece, right?
Absolutely.
The competence or skill sets that we need to develop as just our persons or personal development, and or I'm huge through the Maxwell program into the 7 pillars of community. You could start talking just about healthcare and government and schools, you big business, little business, churches.
Yep.
Everything rises and falls on leadership. That's a Maxwell thing.
Absolutely.
And with that, it opens up doors so that I can increase the competence and skill sets of people to lead their lives and have more woohooing.
I love it.
Now all of a sudden, then it's just the craft or strategy of how we're going to plan out our days and our weeks, and you go out and do great
Sure.
things. And then the conditions that stifle us. That's how Maxwell came into this.
Got it.
And it's transcended my business.
Yeah, he's a very smart dude. As
Huge. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I found that not only getting more familiar with Rich over the years and coaching in general, but Maxwell and not Sanders.
Who are you thinking? There's so many of them. Okay.
Sandlin techniques and all that fun stuff. This is where the AddressTwo ties in is that, you can have all these great tools like AddressTwo and all that, but what do you do with them? How do they work into your business? Why do you even need them? And I know my process over the years. I've done this long enough that I know that, interaction, great customer service, keeping it simple, and actually asking a lot of questions of my customers is what helps, close the deals for me. But I would have never gotten there not knowing, and exploring processes and, how people actually work and all that. And through folks like Rich and some of our other coaches that use AddressTwo and marketing firms and all that, just asking simple questions is really I think that's what got us connected really well. Is one of the first times we talked. I think I sat down and went 21 questions with you, and you were like, "We got to talk about this.
Let's go."
These are a lot of great questions. Why does this work? Okay, let me try this out. So you've been using AddressTwo for 3.5 years.
Yes.
And I love to tease you all the time because every time you say you could use it better, but I don't think so. And I noticed you sent an email out today, which was awesome. I was like,
but hold on. Did you read that email?
I did.
Okay, so can we tell?
Yep, tell him
about it. So AddressTwo is a tool within any business person's toolbox, and tying in just one simple word that I'll share with Troy and you guys is consistency. And the law of consistency basically will say motivation will get you going, but discipline keeps you going. Now let's break out. Do you know how to grow in consistency? And the real questions that come from it that I sent out in AddressTwo today were what do you want to grow in consistency? And for me, just being transparent with you all, and I think if you guys look in the mirror, if we all do, it's do we use our CRM consistently?
Right.
And then it becomes, now that we've chosen that's what we're going to grow in consistently, do we know how to grow in consistency? Do we know why? And the why is huge, tied to the business growth and the achievements.
Process, for sure.
Absolutely, every bit of it. And then the last question is when. So obviously it's a very simple format to what we want to choose to grow in consistency. What are we going to grow? Why are we going to grow? How are we going to grow?
And when are we going to pull that trigger?
And when are we going to do it? And the answer to when is daily, right?
Yep. That's my answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
So
every day.
Every day you should use it. So I built out the email today and sent it out to my tribe and said, just in total transparency, because my business has exploded, partially branding, partially Maxwell and how I've grown.
And let's not lie, you brought your wife on, and I think that helped 10 times more, buddy.
Yeah. So, well, she's crazy busy in real estate right now. Crazy busy.
Sure.
So within the entire framework of the discussion, the reply that I got from a simple email was astronomical.
Yes.
Because not only did it go out in a good format, AddressTwo, it went out and it was the right message that we could all talk about where we don't consistently do the things that we know we should do because we're doing things that perhaps we want to do that are lower on the priority list.
Let me ask you this. You say that, and that just it kind of rings a really home button for me, only from the standpoint of, so you, how do we put this? There's two things, correct me if I'm wrong here. So there's two things that you can do to be more consistent in your AddressTwo usage. One, hire an assistant to do it, right?
Right.
That would be the big thing. Hire a marketing person, something like that that's going to be expensive as far as overhead goes. But the return of investment, just like Rich said, of remembering to do that on a consistent basis is amazing. The other thing is what folks like Rich and some of our other business coaches highly recommend is process, right?
Process.
It's process. It's all ingraining this habit of CRM, email marketing, and just your personality, if you will, coaching, speaking, that kind of stuff into your AddressTwo world. So like this video, it's so hard to do this video. I mean, and I only say that because I know I have to do this video one time a month.
Right.
But all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, oh, it's the end of July. I need to have something for next month and the following month. And then it's the process of, okay, so I got Rich for, let's say it's August. Yes, it's August. So got Rich for August, but now I need September and October, and it's going to be December and cold, but I still got to line that up. But it's all about that process. And that's what folks, I know he's huge on the process thing, especially with the adding the John Maxwell thing in it is what I have noticed over my years of working with Rich has really kind of been great for me anyway, learning more from his videos. And he talks about the laws of something that process is it laws?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There is within what we teach,
Yeah.
which we have within the team
21
laws of leadership.
Yep.
And that is actually moved to a higher level, so not everybody can use it because of some of the Maxwell systems. The 15 laws of growth, which is
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Right up here.
Okay.
And by far, if people want to really hone in on 2 of the 5 books that every one of my coaching clients get.
Okay.
This is where I was introduced to Maxwell, was the 15 laws of growth.
Yep.
And it is absolutely epic for understanding processes. Now, I'll even say, when you talk about consistency, going back to, do you know how to grow in consistency? And it is to match your motivation to your personality type. Something that you were just saying that really just cooks and resonates with me, which is processes. Totally agree with processes, but I'm also aware of my motivation, or not my motivation, I'm aware of my personality type. If we go disc profile, I'm a high I.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
High I's, how do they like processes?
They hate them. They
Right.
hate them at all.
Right.
It's more creativity.
Yes, it's free flowing, no rules, creativity, spontaneity. And yet the more that you grow within yourself and go through personal development, you don't necessarily lose your spontaneity, your woohoo. What you really end up learning is where you need to be self-disciplined. Go to this book right here, the Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 talks about self-discipline. And it's absolutely changed me, that the growth, the processes, and committing to using the system.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I have found, because I'm also creative,
Sure.
For sure.
You? Come on.
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm a wannabe creative. These videos and all that kind of fun stuff that we do, I'm a wannabe. There are way better professionals out there, but I think that's what also makes me a strong sales guy, is having a lot of fun doing these videos, putting together edited pieces, doing some podcasts like I used to do back in the day. I think that did I have you on a podcast?
No, never.
We should do one. We should totally do. Oh my God.
We'll do it on the woohoo inside.
We'll do it on the woohoo inside.
There you go.
We'd be terrible at podcasting.
If anybody wants to volunteer to do a podcast with me, you just have to reach out on my contact page on my website, woohooing.com. And I love doing podcasts and asking success-based questions. So,
yeah.
But
we do a 24-hour podcast.
We would. Marathon. What is that called? A filibuster?
Yes. I think that would be great. A filibuster. The woohooing filibuster.
Yeah.
The processing woohooing filibuster A2.com.
Absolutely.
Gosh, that'd be it.
So
We'd be bad.
We would. The process, the
Oh,
personality
but the
type, the
creative,
growth.
the creative side of it, though, that's what I love about the AddressTwo world. Is there, it seems like it's a machine, it's a tool, right? But man, you guys, it's such a tool that you can be creative with. Coming out with hey, I need to be more consistent email. Looking up and finding folks that you haven't talked to for a year. My friend John up here in Michigan as well, not too far away at
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids.
Yep.
Yeah, at Driver Source in Grand Rapids. He does cool things like he goes back and if he's trying to figure out something to do for the day, it's 3:45. He's got another hour and 15 minutes to burn. I hate to say, not throwing John under the bus. John, you're a great AddressTwo user, but it's 3:45. Some things he'll do is he'll go back into his AddressTwo account and actually go back and say, hey, today is, well, we're going to pretend like it's August something, but today's July 27th. What a year ago on July 27th was I doing? And because he uses AddressTwo on a consistent basis, he's got 18, 20, logs in there, what he did. But, he'll go back and go, dude, I haven't talked to that Rich guy for a year. He picks up that phone. I mean, I hate to say he's wasting 15 minutes, but he's really not because it's all about those little sales touches. It's all about those staying top of mind. This dude's a genius, and he thinks it's like, I don't want to say, again, I'm not throwing John under the bus, but I totally am. I don't want to think he's amazed at how much it works. And I'm just like, John, no, that's what this system is supposed to do. And he's like, I'm like, dude, there's so many other things that you can be so creative, like going back and saying, what did I do a year ago? I've got 25 minutes at the end of my day to burn. Oh, I haven't talked to Rich for a long time. Hey, Rich, it's John, just checking in. I know you're busy, but I thought it's been a year, thought I'd say hello. Next thing you know, Rich goes, hey, man, I just spoke with the Michigan Transport Center or Michigan Director of Transportation. They're looking for people to do keynote speeches. It's the next coming this, that, this. John could land his next $20,000 client over a simple act of click, look it up in my CRM.
Right.
And it's just stuff like that, like Rich talks about. Had a customer down in Louisville, Kentucky last week who said, send an email out. Matter of fact, he accidentally sent it twice.
Nice.
It happens.
Been there, done that.
It happens. But it happens. But he sent it out twice. Sent me an email that next day. Hey, man, totally sent my email out twice. Didn't mean to, but guess what? Booked 6 shredding jobs. Actually, they were just on the show last month in July. They booked 6 shredding jobs by a simple, hey, it's the end of the month. Just thought we'd check in and see how things are going. If you guys need any shredding, we're a little slow this week. Boom. And they're the, whatever you call it, the legal paper shredding, all that kind of stuff. 6 jobs by just a happenstance of just a quick idea. I'm a little slow today. Hey guys, we're personally running a little slow this week. If you have any jobs, we're offering a little bit off. Click. They booked their truck out the entire rest of the week.
That is awesome.
I mean, it's just little creativity things like that. Things like Rich was like, Troy's coming to town, better send an email. I'm just giving him crap. But no, that's awesome.
Well, and for me, how you can use it, that is like, we are going to use this thing differently.
Everybody does.
And how can we use it to our advantage?
Yep.
It's a tool to use. And the cool thing is I have a program that is, I use a documenting sheet, and I have big woohoos that I do every day.
Okay.
Okay. And it's called the 5, 5, 5, and 5 program. 5 text messages.
Yep.
5 private emails, one-on-one emails.
Yep.
5 Facebook messages.
Awesome.
Right? And then 5 phone calls.
And that's it.
Yeah. 20 contacts every day.
That's it.
But where do you find who you're going to text? You're not going to, it's not here and thumb through and say, oh my gosh.
I'm so glad you're talking about what you're talking about, man. And I only say that from a standpoint of have a current user who has a Facebook group, and she had put something in her Facebook group about staying organized. And they were talking about like, oh, I do check marks, or I do a to-do list and mark things off. And you're dead serious when you say, no, there's got to be a method to that madness, right?
Right. There's got to be a process for it.
I see people going, oh, I just used my to-do calendar. And I'm like, bro, how do you know what Rich, the name of Rich's boat, that kind of stuff? How do you look that up on a to-do? I know
it's woohoo.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I can't do that.
What did I do to that person last time?
Right.
What did I do? What did I say? I texted them on this date. Okay, well, you're not going to text them twice in a row.
Yeah.
So you're going to pick up the phone.
I was getting twitchy on those replies coming back. Calendars, Post-it notes, and I'm going, oh, God, help. I need you all to be AddressTwo customers.
Absolutely. But, that's where do we go to find the information? It's right there. One
Yeah.
source, not, okay, wait, I got to close that screen and I got to go to my email. I got to go to my private message group. But there's a system
My
to it.
archived emails in
Oh,
Gmail.
my goodness.
And that's the big thing that I think, and maybe you can touch on that a little bit. Let's get down into the real nitty gritty of AddressTwo. That's the big thing with a lot of people is that I don't want to say they're scared to change that process, but it's how do you get past that as a user? I mean, the intimidation of I know I need to change. I know I need to be better at using systems for my business. But then you just go back to the same old, same old.
So to me, go right back up to the book. And again, this is within me I've read that book over 25 times.
Yeah.
I already know, like, from my perspective, we have to identify we need growth because we're not doing something we should be doing, right? And so the answer becomes, what is the growth gap trap? And is it, I don't know how. If somebody doesn't know how, call the dude. He's going to simply, step by step, just walk you through, engage in some of the online tutorials, that kind of stuff. Okay.
I can't tell me how many times you've been like, dude. I mean, you are. He's going to argue with me and say he's not quite there yet, I would assume. But at the beginning, you were like, dude, I don't get this. I really don't get this. Well, and I'm like, Rich, let's sit down. I think it was maybe a 2 hour.
Yeah.
We sat down for a good 2 hours and I walked you through it.
And it was even a process where a week later we talked about it again because, again, now I get it. Now I got to go into action.
Yep.
And
and then you need me to come back and go, Rich, you forgot to set statuses.
Or I broke something.
Yep.
Just a lot of different things. But if you don't know how, you call. If you're lacking the inspiration, the funny thing to lacking inspiration is, will we all just sit in the mirror and just say, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it 50 times until we're inspired enough to just do it because we're sick of saying just do it?
Yeah.
Or are we afraid of making mistakes? Well, the funny thing is, even a mistake from the Louisville guy brought in business.
Yeah.
Some people will fall into
some people in that mistake realm are afraid of those mistakes of, oh man, what if I accidentally delete something or add something or whatever?
Right.
And those are, I look at them as 100%. I know this is me being silly at some point, but I look at them, it's almost, I think I read the book Go for No, which helped me on that as well. But for me, those mistakes are opportunities, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, a simple, I sent an email, my day probably 11 on the job. I was using my AddressTwo, business AddressTwo account for my Toastmasters organization account at the same time. Man, I busted an email out to 25,000 people for 11 Toastmasters is who was supposed to go to.
Nice.
But it was awesome because it opened up that door of, hey, and I don't remember who it was that called, but I'd have folks call and be like, hey, Troy, you sent an email out, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, man, I'm really sorry. Somehow I got you personally on that Toastmasters list. And I got a few calls, but like 10
connections.
But I didn't have.
Did the phone ring?
The phone rang.
Did the emails come back?
A few emails came back.
As like, hey Troy, what are you doing? But it's an engagement. It's
an engagement. It's a touch. It's still trying to figure out my AddressTwo thing now that I'm here. Jokes, that kind of fun stuff. But it was awesome because I actually got a speaking gig out of it. Because somebody didn't know who was an AddressTwo customer who didn't know about that I was in Toastmasters was like, hey, we've got this thing coming up. Would you do a 15-minute speech on what CRM is and all that? I'm like, so wait a minute. My mistake put me in front of, I think it was about 15 more people.
Right.
But it was it was a learning opportunity.
But so many people, based on programming from parents, parents tell us, try to keep kids safe. Don't keep your kids safe. It is
Stop
okay
messing
to fail.
in that, Trey.
Yeah, Trey, don't do that.
I'm just teasing.
See, don't fail, Trey. You're right. But fail forward or just keep learning from your failures, and a mistake is okay.
Yep.
Perfection stifles some people from using AddressTwo.
Absolutely.
It's not perfect. So when you can identify, sometimes we buy into a tool like AddressTwo and we think or assume or expect that it's going to be easier to use. And as soon as we hit the hardship of it, because it's not, it's not going to be something that is just going to be like, here's my magic bullet.
It's a tool.
Yes.
You have to use the tool.
So all of these growth gap traps, it's which one is yours and how can you overcome that trap? And how can you simply just start marching forward? I know that was me, and that's me in everything I do. It's just like, well, what is stifling my ability to move forward right now? Okay, I'm
Time.
in
For
a
you, it's time right now.
timing gap
Yep.
is huge.
That's a huge one.
It is. And a lot of people use the timing gap to talk about it's not the right time to grow.
Right.
So they'll sit back and they like won't reach their potential.
Yep.
And they need to be pushed off that cliff. Well, you build your wings on the way down. You're not going to splat.
Yep.
But the timing and when it is, it's funny that you just said time. I'm not quite to, but very close to max capacity in my coaching business.
Good.
It's really cool. But now leverage all of the speaking events that I've ever been to.
Yep.
As I told you, we're on camera and I'm pitching you right now.
I love it.
I want you in the Woohooing Mentorship Program.
Okay.
Because you and I have talked about coaching.
Yep.
And we haven't done coaching.
We haven't done it.
It could be because the cost of coaching.
It's time and distance.
Well, but we can get on the phone. Don't give me any reason, excuse, or circumstance.
I love it.
Right?
I'm getting pitched on my own show. How's this happen?
But if we stop and think about it, when we're leveraged on time, it's thinking about the problem. And the Woohooing Mentorship Program
is to get around that whole problem.
I teach once a week on the phone.
Yeah.
And my goal and target through AddressTwo is to get 1,000 people in the program.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, now I'm not leveraged with time. I'm going to teach once a week. There's a community that's based on it, but it all flows right together.
So you're going to get 1,000 people on the phone?
On the phone.
Okay. I was like, how are you going to have 1,000 meetings once a month?
And nope, exactly. See, you couldn't do it.
No.
But leveraging all the people I've spoken in front of
Yep.
and put into AddressTwo, it's just start to seed in.
It's like the old school family tree, though.
$99 a month. $99 a month.
Yep.
4 teachings, a community, Q&A, and somebody there to say, keep going.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
That's what half these people need, Rich.
Yeah.
That's what half of all of us need is somebody just behind us with a foot up our you-know-what.
Yes, but teaching.
My bad, forgot the kids were here.
But teaching real stuff, like priority.
Priority.
If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority.
Correct.
But how do you start ranking
or time
stuff?
management, like we were just talking about.
You can't manage time. It's priority.
It's priority.
It's managing your activities and the people.
Yeah.
But seed in, AddressTwo, use the tool, and build out what you want in life.
Yeah.
But if there's no tool there, or you're not using the tool.
Yeah. There's a lot of tools out there that don't get used proficiently for sure. And AddressTwo's not only one of those, but even your that thing's a huge proficiency thing, and a lot of people don't know how to use it right.
Absolutely.
For proficient, this kid sitting over here needs to learn how to put his homework schedule in there.
Amen. And stop doing
Fortnite.
Dude, I promise I have a son at home that is playing Fortnite right now on his Xbox.
Oh, absolutely.
Screaming in the microphone, talking to his friends while he's doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, it's all about the combination of having the right tools like AddressTwo and growing to your maximum capacity.
It's funny that you say this call thing about 1,000 on the call or whatever. I love the whole woohooing model anyway. I always have. I've told you that from the beginning. Trey's even got the giant woohooing megaphone out here, which I love. I'm teaching them both great business techniques, aren't I?
I like it.
But we should talk about having a woohoo, even if it's just an AddressTwo woohooing call.
Absolutely.
For all the AddressTwo folks.
Just
you know what?
Give people the 5 C's.
Put in
the meat behind the 5 C's.
Yep.
And when people have the meat behind the 5 C's, they will start using it for their advantage, the 5 C's and the AddressTwo.
And they're going to be creating a community of woohooing, AddressTwoing woohooing.
Do you know what we call them?
AddressTwoing?
Do you know what we call them?
Uh-oh.
Woohooligans.
Woohooligans. The AddressTwo Woohooligans.
I like it.
We could start an all baseball team after that. We'd have a world tournament.
Absolutely. I picked before you. You're one team. I'm the other.
At it.
I'm a coach.
All right.
You're a coach.
Kickball. I do kickball better than baseball.
Trey does kickball. Molly?
I get him. You can.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
There you go.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, these kids are chomping at the bit and ready to get home. It's a good 4.5 hour drive. So I better end us there and think, hey, I think we better have a follow-up to this with the woohooing call. So not only us two, but you guys. I love the idea of putting together some woo-hooligans from AddressTwo.
Let's just have a community of people that are.
The 5 C's. Let's
Are you
work on
ready?
it. Ready?
They want success. Success is woohooing. Challenge anybody to define success.
Yeah. In the comments below.
Know your purpose, grow to your maximum potential,
Got it?
and sow seeds that help others. Think of AddressTwo. It knows its purpose.
We know what we're doing. Keeping it simple.
We're trying to grow it,
Keep meeting these people and showing them the power of it.
and we're sowing seeds that help others. And each person that's using AddressTwo, it's the tool to sow the
To
seeds.
sow the seeds for their business.
Oh, that's powerful stuff.
I
We're
love it.
talking soon.
Yeah. And you're talking with both of us on the next one. We'll do a live one, maybe a little AddressTwo only little webinar. We'll
Little
put us both
webinar,
in
go
a webinar.
live and have people start asking us questions. We'll put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot. That scares me, but I love it.
I love Q&A, so bring every question when you put that together. Bring all your questions. I would love to help you.
That's awesome. Can I woohoo out of the woohooing thing as a finish? Woohoo! We'll see you guys next time.